2017 Elbert County Board of County Commissioner meeting. Ballot cert, could you roll call, please?
Commissioner Thayer.
Here.
Commissioner Richardson.
Here.
Commissioner Wilcox.
Here. And Pastor James, Brian James, sir?
Yes.
You do a prayer and thanks.
The honor, Commissioner. Heavenly Father, we come before you this morning, and we praise you, Lord, for who you are, the King of Kings, and we thank you for what you've done, for your unconditional love towards us, for making a way for us through this crazy world. And we thank you for these leaders, the public servants that have stepped up, and for the people of this county who have elected them. And Lord, I just thank you that nothing is too difficult for you. I thank you for the turning of the tide in our nation. I thank you for our president. I pray you would give him wisdom, Lord. I thank you for the soldiers that have bought and secured our freedom, many with their very own blood. And Lord, I pray we would never take that for granted. And Father, I just pray that your hand of divine providence would lead our commissioners as they tackle tough challenges and make difficult decisions that will affect our county and our neighbors for many generations to come. Lord, I thank you, Father, that we are in a nation that has this freedom and that you can be honored in the public square and that you are honored. And Father, help us to be good stewards of that. And Lord, I lift up the marriages of these men. I lift up their families, their relationship with you, their relationship with the people of this county and the Elbert County government team, and just pray your favor upon them, Lord, in Jesus' name. Amen. We could turn towards the flag. All right, we wear our hats. Say the pledge together. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right, if we can go on the approval of the agenda. Changes?
Yeah, two minor changes, I guess. Just as an oversight, we left off board planning. I recommend we add item J, board planning, to discuss our next agenda. And we had some fairly substantial changes to the county manager policy since our last meeting, so I recommend we move action item H2, county manager policy, up into discussion item G3 or G5.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Yep. Okay. Then, can we move?
Yes, I move that we accept this agenda with
We can have a second and vote on that.
Yes. Okay, so I move that we accept it with these changes.
Yeah, second the changes, please.
I second it. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So now, Dallas, we move to accept it, correct?
To accept the agenda.
Okay, can I entertain a motion to accept the agenda?
I move that we accept the agenda.
Okay, second. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Consent agenda. Any changes?
I find it acceptable. In fact, I move that we accept the consent agenda as stated.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Item 1 on the consent agenda. Vouchers and Mylars. Can we have?
Chairman.
Thank you.
So do we have to make a motion to regard them?
I didn't think so. That was good. I think we're good. All right. Moving on. SIA agreement for Quail Hills. Go ahead. Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners. Kyle Fenton, Director of Community Development Services. This is a subdivision improvement agreement. It was a condition of approval for a minor subdivision that you have already heard and already approved. It's been fully executed and agreed upon, and this is the final step in his journey, so to speak. And the young man, I'd like to just say a little bit about the young man who's doing this. He's a Polish immigrant, and he came over here with fundamentally nothing. Didn't speak English, and this is his first subdivision. It's just a kind of cool story of the American dream, if you will. So that's really it. It's pretty standard form. These are the requirements that he's bound to as part of his development, and this is an agreement with Elbert County.
Thank you.
Any questions?
No, in that it's on the consent agenda, I think it's already been
We're
approved.
good? Yeah, good. Yes, all right. Let's move on to the variance reports. We're currently posting the variance reports on the website, and they track this monthly, and we're going to make it a practice to have them posted on the agenda and review them. So that's what that item is here for the future, for now and the future. So.
And again, that's on the consent agenda, it's already been approved.
Correct. So with that then, Dallas, do we have to do a motion to accept or anything approved? All right. Move on to the staff reports, elected officials, departments, and staff reports. Rush Creek Wind Project.
Morning, Commissioners, Elbert County Manager. Quick update on the Rush Creek project. Staff is currently working with the vendors on their final phases of their road use agreement. We've performed inspections, field inspections, identified different routes and so forth like that. Also working to set up that meeting with the state on the taxation issues and things like that. But no progress as far as execution of those agreements at this time. We're just working through the process. Everything's going as expected. And we anticipate they'll be underway here shortly. Any comments or questions you guys might have? Just really interested in the revenue piece when we get that. Yeah, and we've sent out requests to set up that meeting with the state and Excel's tax folks to understand their finances on that.
Don't feel bad about pushing on them. It was a condition on them to set up the meeting.
We won't. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks, Ed. Grant?
No, I'm just looking forward to the numbers.
We all are. Next comment is video of the BOCC meetings. Dallas.
Good morning, Commissioners. Dallas Schroeder, County Clerk Recorder. A few weeks back, we had set a goal of having available on the website both the video of the BOCC meetings and the audio recordings available on March 8th for the March 8th meeting. I'm happy to report all that equipment has been ordered, that we've been able to make that happen, and we'll be testing that equipment between now and the next meeting. And so, barring a huge technical difficulty, we should be able to fulfill that goal of having those available on for the March 8th meeting.
Thanks, Dallas. Comments, questions?
No, you don't?
Good. All right, on to the water study consulting contract. Ed?
Elbert County Manager. On the water study, we've met with Forrester and again yesterday to talk about our first public outreach meeting. I'm going to ask Will to step up to the podium and talk a little bit about some of the data they've collected and some of the things they're working on. In addition to that, we've just been trying to define the amendment to the contract itself and any scoping changes that may be required there as well. So, but that'll turn it over to Will and let him speak over it.
Good morning. Will Cover at Forrester & Associates. We have the public meeting on Monday night at 7 p.m. at the exhibit hall at the Plain Fairgrounds. And we'll be updating the water supply study. We're a couple months into it now. We've been putting together information on existing demands and projected growth in the county, as well as what the existing water supply situation is. So we'll be going through what our tasks are laid out for the water supply study and where we're going with it. Be looking for feedback from the county as well.
Any comments, questions?
Questions, comments?
Thoughts? Yeah. I mean, I know people have been scrambling to get pulling data together, so are you comfortable with where you're at in
Yes, sir.
terms of the data received?
Yes, sir. I would appreciate the WAC has put together some information for us on a lot of districts, and we really appreciate the help there.
You see the whole list of people that have water and have control of water. It's
Right.
impressive, so I'm glad they're responsible.
Is there a timing view when this will be done, or?
We're still on schedule with our current plan.
You gotta remember, you're talking to an old man, what does that mean?
August.
Oh, okay, good.
Yes. We have some limitations within our grant funding and different things like that. We're still within those guidelines.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ed. Thank you, Will.
Thank you.
Comments on the next one?
On to the next one.
Okay. Pavement condition analysis, another one.
Heading and county manager. The pavement condition analysis is a reporting process. It really provides us our data that we need to budget for asphalt repairs, asphalt maintenance, and replacement. It's a program that we started in 2009, finished in 2010, and we try to update segments of that pavement analyst every year. This year, we're actually updating the entire report itself. And in addition to the update this year, to tell us where we're at with our pavement conditions, we're also going to include a capital replacement program as part of that. We've started phase 1 of 2 phases, and we've started in the subdivisions this year, so that we can take a look at where we actually sit as far as several of the subdivisions that haven't been formally accepted by the county. We can see the actual pavement conditions within those subdivisions. We did analyze those subdivisions in 2010, so we have a baseline to see how the conditions have changed. And so we're in that process, so folks may see some guys running around in their fluorescent orange, measuring, taking pictures, analyzing that pavement.
I know it's a big undertaking to do all of it in 1 year, but I think it's important to get both the things that are the areas that hadn't been accepted that are kind of in arrears and project looking forward as well, so we can roll all those projects that are going forward.
It's a good tool. It's a way for us to analyze if after our initial pavement analysis, we implemented some preventative maintenance items and maintenance tasks, and it's a good way for us to measure to see if those tasks are working, if we need to tweak them, if we need to change them with our limited funding to accomplish the same goals that we're trying to get. So.
Ed, thanks. This is to address some of the subdivisions out there, like you mentioned, that haven't had the roads accepted. This was brought to us by citizens, and we're trying to react to the problems that we've encountered out there. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Dan?
No, I think that you can't repair something or fix something if you don't know what you got. And I like this idea that we'll have a base set of information and give us something to analyze.
Sure. We have the base, and this will just provide us with the updated information. It will tell us, where we need to head with the financial constraints that we're faced with.
Thanks, Ed. Okay, open public comment. Now, this part of this meeting is kind of set aside for public comment on items that are not related to items of discussion or action, because you will have the opportunity to provide input or comment on those items individually. At this point, if you have anything outside of that, you're open to, please present. Yes, sir.
You'll need to
Could
go
you,
on-
there you go.
So we can capture it for the record.
A
Driveway permit was issued
Sure, you'll
in...
have to state your name.
Oh, my name is Rick Polishaw, and my address is 41405 Way of Goodness. And that's a Deer Trail address. A driveway permit was issued, I believe, in error for lot 68 in Chaparral Valley. That address is 41988 Way of Gentleness. There is no access to this property currently for emergency vehicles. Should an emergency arise at this location, the emergency vehicles would have to either ford Bijou Creek, which is problematic in the best of conditions and impossible in the worst of conditions, or the emergency vehicles would have to travel across the country from a couple miles away off coming from the west off of Comanche Creek. Also, the landowner has begun building a house without a building permit, to my knowledge, and has been living there in a tent since last summer. So the reason I'm bringing this to the commissioner's attention is I believe that this causes a huge liability problem should a fire be started over there, or should a medical emergency occur with respect to the first responders and the county's liability there. It could result in a multi-million-dollar lawsuit that, as a taxpayer, I'd be very unhappy with.
Just as a curiosity, you said a driveway permit has been issued. Have they built the road?
No. There's, the driveway permit, I believe, just assigns the address, right? And so, the limit of my understanding is that a driveway permit was issued, and, erroneously so. And then, like I said, the building of the house was initiated without building permit. So, just requesting some further follow-up on this resolution. It's my understanding from when I built my house many years ago that, camping on the property would be permissible for a short period of time to facilitate the building, in a rural area, provided there's sanitary facilities, and that is, short-term, 180 days or whatever was in the ordinances at that time. So, some follow-up needs to happen here to
Okay.
give reliability.
Rick, what I'd like to do is, if we could, we're not in a position to address it now. So what I would like to do is see if you can get with the appropriate people, maybe after the meeting, and be able to discuss the issue with them. Would that work? Okay. We're here tomorrow. That, if you could get with either our county manager or... County manager. Okay. All right. That's Mr. Eddie. Okay. Thank you. Anybody else with hi.
Good morning, Commissioners, Director of CDS. Commissioner Thayer, you had asked CDS to give you a report and update on the Planning Commission. Didn't know when you wanted us to do that. I thought that it was going to be this meeting. We can briefly give you an update on what the Planning Commission has been up to.
Yeah, one of the things that the three of us are pretty strong in our view is that we want to get these things on the agenda. So
I understand.
And these ad hoc presentations and things like that, although they're interesting, they're really not in line with the approach we would like to take. And I understand if you're going to have Dan make a comment, he can make a comment. I'm not going to stop that. But what we're hoping for, and I'll defer to the other two gentlemen here, but what we're hoping for is each of these groups going forward, the library board, the planning commission, the water advisory, committee, is it? Water advisory committee, and there's several others. We'd like to set it up so we have a pure, my speech impediment is coming through today, is we'd like to have a periodic update of goals, actions, strategies, or maybe even a good joke, I'm not sure, but we really want to have a predictable flow of information to the county commissioners. One of the things that I certainly believe, and I think these other two gentlemen do also, is that the source of quite a few of the complaints that we hear at the commissioner level, and there are several, really emanate from our lack of knowing what's going on. And so what I would like to suggest, if you're ready, if you would ask to put it on the next meeting's agenda as an agenda item, so then the public is knowledgeable, we're somewhat knowledgeable, and it's more orderly and professional.
Okay, sir.
I made a speech and I didn't have, it's not on the agenda, so.
You have it, it's a good. I guess for nosy, we want to be involved, maybe so. Chris?
Wait to hear from the public.
Okay. Do we have any more comments out there? Okay, well, thank you. Thank you for those. Hopefully, move on to the next one. We're going through discussion items now. Each item, what we'll do is we'll go through that item, then we'll allow public comment at that point. Or actually, our comment will come first, and then public comment if you have any one of the items. So, first one on the list is the IGA with Elizabeth Fire. Folks here from the morning.
Morning, Commissioners, Wade Gately, County Attorney. We have received an intergovernmental agreement, a proposed intergovernmental agreement from the Elizabeth Fire Protection District, and I believe you have that in your packets.
Yes, sir.
Just a brief explanation of the status of this. Last year, the legislature amended the statutes to allow for an emergency district, including fire protection districts, to impose an impact fee, to have a district impact fee. And in our local situation, the Elizabeth Fire Protection District had a study performed to determine the appropriate impact fee levels, and that was completed in December. And then their board voted to approve the impact fee and to begin the process of intergovernmental agreements. One of the reasons we need an intergovernmental agreement is because this fee can be collected if the governmental entities agree. It can be collected by the county. So in this case, the IGA is to allow the impact fees as stated, and they're actually phased in, and I'll talk about that too. But it allows the impact fees to be collected by the county. So the intergovernmental agreement says the assessment, collection, and remittance of emergency services impact fees. Now, the county treasurer would be receiving deposits of these impact fees on new development. This would be for new development, both residential and commercial. There's a separate impact fee for each of those. And then on a monthly basis, the county treasurer will be remitting those fees to the Elizabeth Fire Protection District. I've discussed this with the county treasurer. Pettit is in agreement with this. There is an administrative fee that's allowed to be charged of 3% to defray the costs of collection, and that's what our county treasurer's office would be charging. So that's what the proposed agreement is. It's actually now been signed by the Elizabeth Fire Protection District, by the president of the board of directors. So if the board chooses, we can move this to an action item and approve the IGA. I also want to point out that there is an attachment 1, which talks about the actual amounts of the impact fee schedule, and it's phased in. In other words, we have one fee effective January 1 of 2017. It increases a little bit January 1 of 2018, and then it goes to a final phase January 1 of 2019. TJ Steck, the fire chief of the Elizabeth Fire Protection District, is also here. I invite him to make any comments he'd like to make, and we'll proceed from there.
TJ, how are you?
Good afternoon, Commissioners. TJ Stack, I'm the fire chief for Elizabeth Fire Department.
appreciate the opportunity to be on your agenda, and certainly appreciate the help from your legal counsel and other staff for working with us on this. As Wade said, last year we worked very hard to amend Title 29, which is the legislation that allows all local governments to collect impact fees on new development. The unfortunate component of that title at the time was that it inadvertently left out fire protection districts. Everybody else, but Parks and Recs, library, anybody else in local government, but fire protection districts could not. So we successfully achieved an amendment on that article, or that title that allowed us to collect. So what I want to assure the commissioners, anybody in the room that's interested in this is not a tax. It is not a fee that would be imposed on existing citizens at all. It simply allows the fire protection districts to impose an impact fee like every other local government in the county on new development only. That doesn't mean if you build a fence, we're going to come out and impose an impact fee. It's only on new residential development, new commercial development. So what we're trying to do is protect the existing citizen from having to pay the impacts of new development for fire and emergency services by asking the developers to cover those costs of the impact. Thank you. Do you have any questions for?
No, I mean, I think everybody probably would appreciate going forward that you did kind of ladder the fee. I know in talking with you, the actual study that set the fee came in much higher than this. So I know your board is looking very carefully at impact going forward and don't want to scare away people that want to do business.
It is
kind of easing into this.
Thank you, Commissioner. It is notable that our elected officials agreed that to impose a very large fee up front could, and this was part of the opposition at the state level, was that we might chase away the economic development. So our board was cognizant of allowing that to be phased in over 3 years, so it wasn't such a big surprise and allowed anybody that would be developing to plan for that.
I think it also kind of eases, it's one less stop for people to make because they're doing their work to get approval. And they're already writing checks here for other impacts. So.
Absolutely, I agree. And our staff, my fire prevention bureau works good with planning CBS, so there should be a good relationship there that we can develop for the communication and the permits and stuff.
In your discussions with other chiefs, do you foresee any of the other districts going through? I mean, I know the study's expensive, so smaller districts.
Yeah, the statute requires a rational nexus, which is a third-party study. So in order for them to do that, they would have to finish the nexus. I know of 2 other fire districts that are either in that study process or completing it. And so I imagine you'll see some additional intergovernmental agreement requests come forward. One thing that we are trying to do among the 7 fire departments is standardize that agreement a little bit for Ed and Wade and the commissioners, so you don't have to review 7 completely different LGAs. We're going to try and keep those as similar as we can, so it narrows down the administrative costs for that.
I appreciate the work that went into this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No, my only comment is that I like to see the cooperation between the different people in units and governmental entities, because I think it helps us return to a very professional, predictable outcome.
Thanks.
Good morning, Commissioners. This is Colin from CBS. This was the first that our department's heard of this. And as we absolutely support it and work wonderfully with Elizabeth Fire. We become a collection agency for this and don't know where that administrative fee fits in. It really does affect our books and it does affect our workload. We collect fees for the sheriff already. We collect fees for road and bridge, for growth. Now we're collecting outside fees, potentially collecting for all outside fire departments if this works well. And again, it's wonderful. And I think that it helps with the predictability because in the past, when there are impact fees that are outside of our department, that landed on somebody, because we do have districts that have charged them, it created confusion. I think streamlining it and making it very predictable at the onset is a good idea. We just need to understand what our road, I mean,
No,
need to work it out.
I agree.
We didn't,
It's procedural and internal, and I know we're working with others, so it's an extension of what we're doing.
okay.
The process is in place. If we didn't, if you wanted to,
But I actually think there has been a lot of work done between, the fire department, and I know it's a very similar agreement that you already have your list of set up, so I honestly think we can approve the policy today. Working through the procedures internally is something we can do pretty rapidly, so. I would move that we approve this IGA for the intergovernmental agreement for the assessment, collection, and remittance of emergency service impact fees between the county of Elbert and the Elizabeth Fire Department.
Do we need to move it down to the next item first?
I think we've been previously approving them up here.
That's what we have in the package.
Okay, okay. Second the motion, however, if we could, is there any public comment on this topic? Okay. I think you're right. I looked over it.
Morning, Commissioners, Eddie, County Manager. Just procedurally, you guys, we did have this on the discussion item previously, so it's been standard practice if you feel you have enough information that you can take action. But it wasn't identified on our previous agenda under discussion.
Okay, do you have a motion to move it to the next item or to approve it here?
I think we should just approve it.
Okay.
Here. Yeah.
All right.
TJ and Sarah probably have work to do.
Yep, they can take off. You've got the motion, we got a second, so all in favor?
Aye.
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 Just as a quick question to TJ, this was the subject of an election item first, wasn't it?
TJ Speck was the clerk. Could you clarify the question?
Well, I'm not sure if I'm asking very well, but we had, at election time, that's what initiated this whole process. You had it on the ballot.
Oh, no. To clarify, Commissioner Wright, we actually had our voters in the November ballot pass a capital improvement extension of the millage. So those 2 mills would be used only for existing capital improvements and maintenance of the equipment.
I understand.
So they're 2 separate.
I apologize for my confusion.
I guess if I could just for a moment, to clarify, this bill is very clear, the statute's very clear that we cannot spend this money on salaries or operational components. And in fact, it is very clear that we can only spend the revenue from the impact fees on new capital improvements or expansion of services that are affected by the new development. So if I needed a ladder truck because of a new apartment house, although it may not pay for that, I would be able to start saving for that because we need a ladder truck. If I wanted to update my station, I could not. If I needed to update my fire station to fit a ladder truck, why then I could. So there's very, very detailed items in this statute.
I'm sure.
Unfortunately, it's not just a blank check. We have some very strict items.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
TJ, thank you. We did. We're good. We're good on that. We're on to the update of the Bank of the West properties.
Elbert, County Manager. At this point, I would request that we just line item on hold. We're still in discussion over a couple of terms of the contract. We were comfortable presenting it to you today.
Okay. So we
Don't
continue
need
the
to
discussion.
rush forward if not really. If we'll just roll it to the next.
Yeah.
Good. Good.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ed. Any comments? Anything, right? No. No, okay. The appointment policy, this is our appointment policy for the commission, and we've talked about a few things. I guess I can kind of speak to that a little bit. One of the appointments we haven't made yet, we haven't certified or solidified, whatever, however you want to term it, the library board, and we weren't real familiar with truly the workings of all of it. So what we've done is we've requested that the library come and give us a presentation on where they are as a board, their current condition financially, and other things that we may be concerned with. So they will be doing the presentation for the board so that we're more familiar with our involvement with that library board. That's one part.
And this is in keeping with what Kyle's comment too, is we want to have periodic
Updates. Exactly, with the commissions and appointments that we're responsible for. The next part is we just recently I interviewed an individual who we're considering appointing to the planning commission. That individual is Mr. Kip Parker. He's from District 3. He's very good candidate, I believe. So we're actually at this point considering appointing him to the planning commission, and that one we will bring forward at a probably later time. So with that,
I would like to make a comment on Kip Parker. One of the things that the three of us have discussed in these appointments is getting some geographical diversity. The last commissioners, they seem to consolidate a lot of these appointments around a small geographical area. Of course, I represent way out there, I guess. The point is that the Kip lives down in the far southeast corner of the L. That's about as far away from Kiowa as you can get and not be in Kansas. He's a businessman, he's a rancher, and he's smart. So this was Danny's appointment, and when he allowed us to appoint somebody from the geographical area that has not been represented in the county for a long, long time, I'm excited about it. In fact, it's just as another comment about the geographical diversity, the three of us had met with quite a few of the people down in the Allen Simla on Monday morning for breakfast. They have this little group that shows up every Monday morning, and some of the things they told us were quite enlightening. So by getting this geographical diversity, I think it's going to help us better serve the community.
And I would just say, in a more, I guess, general comment on it, we're in pretty much agreement what we'd like to achieve with our appointment policy, and we'll probably keep this on discussion for a bit while we figure out all the pieces of it. Because if you look at, some of our appointments are done kind of by tradition, they're ad hoc, they serve the purposes of this county. Some have, like the library board has very specific statute that covers it. Different statute covers the planning commission. The service officer has, the veteran service officer has another set of statutes. Developing policy that's consistent and addresses all of this does take some time. Every little boy wants to grow up and do policy, honestly. But I mean, that's the realm that we work in. We can sit here at meetings twice a month and make decisions. Outside of these meetings, things run by policy. So if we're not setting it right to start with, then it's just not going to be right. So that's kind of where a lot of the discussion up here is going to be policy for a while, and figure out what policy needs to be and is it adequate for the smooth running of the county when we're not in session twice a month.
we're taking the appointments pretty serious.
So his actual appointment will be on the next meeting.
I think we'll move it to the next meeting agenda, and this, because if we can, with that,
No, we'll have that resolution.
we are taking these appointments serious. We want to know what we're doing prior to appointing people to these committees. And I came in not knowing much about a lot of these committees, and we want to be educated on those before we move forward. So that's So, anyway, with that, is there any more discussion? Any discussion from the public? Thank you. All right, we'll move on to the purchasing contract with Martin Marietta for recycled asphalt.
Ed Lehman, County Manager. Included in the board package with the contract to purchase recycled asphalt for roadway and gravel roadway. This year's plan included upgrading gravel roads in certain areas of the county with recycled asphalt in lieu of paving. So this is part of a $1.8 million project that has been funded through Road and Bridge. This is just the material piece of it. We'll see in the future component to truck the material to Elbert County, and we'll place it with our staff.
And that was part of a bid process, was it not?
It went through our standard procurement process. It went out to bid. It was on Rocky Mountain e-purchasing. We had, I believe, 3 different vendors bid the material itself.
Was there quite a spread on the bids?
A little bit, not bad. The total projected cost here for 60,000 tons is around $350,000. Spread was around 90,000.
One bidder dropped out because they couldn't meet the terms.
One bidder dropped. Yeah, they didn't have the 60,000 tons available because we have a time frame of June 30th. We want 60,000 tons delivered to Elbert County on June 30th. We think that we have that material.
Martin Marietta does everything. That's like 7 cases.
They do everything.
But do appreciate the work that went behind it and the contract that we provided us. So honestly, do think we can just move forward with this today, so we can start planning how we're going to use it. Sure, worrying about where we're going to get it.
Sure, we have the plan in place on how we're going to use it, where it's going to go, and the next step will be a contracted truck to those locations.
And like I said, it is a good price, and I would hate to see somebody get in sooner and get a quantity as this one or more.
Correct.
So should move forward on it just to ensure we don't lose this price.
That would be appreciated.
That is through discussion. Discussion from public discussion. Any comment? No, at this time, entertain motion.
I think we need,
To move that
do
down.
we need to move to action? As far as I'm concerned, it's already action.
No, I think so.
But then I move that we give the county manager authority to, I guess, execute the contract.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ed. Okay, now. We had moved the county manager policy up from action items. So at this point, we've got the county manager policy under discussion. And currently, it's gone through a number of changes, and we're, I think, coming down to the end. We're kind of refining it. We're delineating certain things, responsibilities, and funding responsibilities throughout this policy. And we're close to finalizing it, but it's not quite there yet. So we're going to continue and move it on maybe to the next meeting until we kind of refine it completely. So
I'm just going to defer to Chris. He's our policy expert.
he is our policy.
We're in a great position. Actually, I know we have had some changes that kind of streamline the authorities for spending and just tighten up language. Last version I saw, I think we can probably take for action at the next meeting. There for the next meeting.
Okay, so since you guys have drafted
Yeah.
this morning, we can review some more and kind of discussion hopefully next meeting. So with that, any comment on our county manager policy? No? All right. On to action items. Approval of the minutes for February 8th.
I would move that we accept and approve the minutes as presented.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
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 The other policy we had on the table was the Elbert County Finance Department policies and procedures, and I think we had gone through a few changes on that. Ed, did you have?
Yeah, I believe this policy, we made the revisions as requested. There's a clean copy that will be forwarded to you folks later today. You did receive a red line copy of the changes in your board packet. We believe this policy is in its final form.
Yeah, I appreciate the red line piece. It did capture everything that we had discussed at the previous one, so I think we're good to take action on it today, and we'll sign the clean copy.
Okay, that, Chris?
So I would move that we accept and approve the Elbert County Finance Department policies and procedures with the changes as presented.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye?
Aye.
Yeah, I had to think about that.
Okay. All right, with that, we're legally completed there with action items. So, on land use, do you have any land use items? No? Okay, thank you, Todd. The agenda that is not on your agenda is our board planning for the next meeting. And if we could start, Chris, did you want to start? You want me to?
I know we captured some of the notes that we've had for future meetings. I know you were taking notes.
Yeah.
All right.
So, under discussion, I have a presentation by Mr. Craig Curl, talk about the Small Business Association and our trade zone area. The library board presentation. And then I also have a note there that talks a little bit about our strategic planning and organizational discussions that we wanted to take place. Under action, the IDA.
Before you go on, should we add, as the planning commission was here today, I guess, and make some kind of a presentation, should we allow them to have a
Sure, you actually.
an agenda item?
Sure, you actually, it was in the minutes that you guys just approved that they were going to do that presentation on March 8th.
Okay.
So we'll put that in there as well.
No, that's, I just want to make sure we didn't overlook it.
Yeah, and it was in the minutes as well, so it's a good catch. Then we move on to action items, which will have the county manager policy. We'll have the IGA for the, just your blank, that oil well.
Vermillion well.
Or MOU, I'm sorry. And then we'll have the trucking bids.
Okay.
And that's all that I had for discussion and action.
Yeah, and I would just, we'll, as we have been doing, we'll set the agenda and publish it a week earlier, so there may be some other items that come up from staff before then. But I think we captured the major ones.
You mentioned library board.
I did.
And I know that normally it'd be, since I spoke with them, I'll try to coordinate that.
That's fine.
All right, that's okay.
Yep.
All right, and then get this strategic plan and organizational structure, we can discuss that.
And we also need to add Bank of the West.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, okay, great.
And, yeah, I think that's, once we pick an item up, we'll keep it on discussion until we finish it.
Tell us.
Right.
There's no change in this meeting. Right.
We may see some things there, repetition, but